Hi everyone, welcome back. We're going to be working on Module 5, Lesson 34 today, where we are continuing to subtract mixed numbers. In this case, we are going to be working on decomposing the first mixed number and making it an improper fraction to just add to our toolbox on how we can solve for the difference between mixed numbers. So let's get started. This question asks us to subtract 3/4 from 5 1/4. You can always pause this video if you need extra time to write it down. And so what we are going to do is we are going to split the 5 1/4 into two pieces. And in these two pieces, we want to create an improper fraction and a whole number. So we want to have an improper fraction and a whole number. Well, one way we can do that is by giving 4 to one side, because we know that we'll have at least 4 wholes, and then the other side will be the remaining part. And that will create our improper fraction. What I will have left is 1 1/4 when I take away 4 wholes from 5 1/4. Well, 1 1/4 can be written as the improper fraction of 5/4. So what I am technically saying is 4 5/4 is equal to 5 1/4, the mixed number we began with. Now I know, because of this information, I'm going to receive in my answer at least the difference of 4 wholes. So I'm going to plug that into my answer right now. And all I have to do is subtract, I'll use a red marker for this, is subtract 5/4 minus 3/4. Well, when I subtract 5/4 minus 3/4, I know that I receive 2/4. So my answer is going to be 4 2/4. Let's try another one like that where we decompose our first mixed number. This next question asks us to subtract 6/8 from 6 3/8. So again, what we are going to do, like our previous question, is we are going to break apart this first mixed number into two pieces. We're going to give at least 5 out of the 6 whole numbers into a whole number, and then we're going to use an improper fraction or another mixed number for the remaining. So like this first question where I gave 4 wholes for the 5, I'm going to give 5 wholes for the 6. So we want to have one less broken apart, one less than the mixed number, the whole number that we started with, because then that will create the improper fraction on the other side. When I take away 5 from 6, I'm left over with 1 3/8. And I know I can change 1 3/8 to be a mixed or an improper fraction. How can the mixed number 1 3/8 turn into an improper fraction? Well, 8 times 1 equals 8, plus the 3 gives me 11 over 8. And you can also use your decomposing tool to help you with that as well, a tool that we've been using for all of Module 5. So now that I have the improper fraction 11/8, I'm ready to start plugging in my answer. I know that my answer is going to give me 5 wholes, and now all I have to do is subtract 6/8 from 11/8. Well, 11 minus 6 gives me 5, so I know that my answer is going to be 5 5/8. Our next question asks us to subtract 2/4 from 3 2/4. So in this question, again, we want to break apart our first mixed number and make it into a mixed number and an improper fraction in order to solve for the difference. Well, since I want to have a whole number on one side and a mixed number or improper fraction on the other, I'm going to take away 2 wholes from the 3. 2 wholes from the 3, leaving me with 1 2/4 left over. Now I know you see that I have the 6/4 because I've already converted, but I want to show you how I was able to convert it. Well, I know that since I have 1 whole and my population is 4, that 1 whole is equal to 4/4. So all I have to do is add that with the fraction part, giving me 6/4. So now I have that improper fraction with the whole number. Our next step is to subtract the 2/4 from the 6/4. And when I do, take a moment to do it in your head. When you do, you're left over with 4/4. So 4/4 looks very familiar because it can be equal to something else. What can a numerator and a denominator that match be equal to? Yes, it can be equal to 1 whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the whole number that I knew I was left over with, which is 2, and I'm going to add that with my 4/4, or my 1. So when I add the 2 and the 1 together, I receive the answer of 3, showing me that the difference between 3 and 2/4 minus 2/4 is equal to 3. So now in this question, you might see that some things are different. We have mixed numbers on both sides. In this question, 4 and 3/6 minus 2 and 5/6. Well, we're going to follow a pretty similar method because what we are going to do is we are going to subtract those whole numbers first and rewrite our question below. 4 minus 2 gives me 2, so I'm going to rewrite my subtraction sentence with 2 and 3/6 minus 5/6. And now we're going to follow the same method that we've been working on for the past 3 questions. What we are going to do is we are going to break apart this mixed number into 2 pieces. I want to receive a whole number on one side and a mixed number on the other. We're going to turn that mixed number then into an improper fraction to solve. So what I'm going to do is I know that I have 2 whole numbers, so I'm going to receive at least a whole number of 1, leaving me with the mixed number 1 and 3/6. Well, I know that since my population is 6, I can convert my 1 to 6/6 and just add that with the 3/6 to give me my improper fraction. Turning my improper fraction after you add these together to what? It turns it to 9/6. So now I have the whole number of 1 and the improper fraction of 9/6. So I'm going to plug in that 1 into my answer because I know I'm going to receive at least 1 whole. Now all we have to do is subtract the 5/6 from the 9/6. The 5/6 from the 9/6. Take a moment to do so. When you do so, you receive 4/6, giving us the difference of 1 and 4/6. In this next question, 4 and 3/7 minus 1 and 6/7, we see a similar pattern. We have mixed numbers on both sides. So what we are going to do in our first step when we see that we have mixed numbers on both sides is we are going to subtract those whole numbers first, 4 and 1. Take a moment to rewrite this sentence after you subtract those whole numbers. You can always pause this video to do so. Your new sentence after you subtract 4 minus 1 should be 3 and 3/7 minus 6/7. So now you have that mixed number on one side and the fraction on the other. We are now able to break apart our mixed number into 2 pieces, giving us a whole number on one side and a fraction on the other. Well, I know that I'm going to receive at least 2 wholes from the 3 and 3/7, leaving me with the mixed number 1 and 3/7. We're able to change the 1 and 3/7 into an improper fraction. We know that 1, since our population is 7, is going to be 7/7. So let's add that with the 3/7, and then that will give us our improper fraction after we converted it from that mixed number. Well, our improper fraction is going to be equal to 10/7. Now that we have all the pieces to our puzzle, we're able to start putting it together to give us our difference. I know I'm going to receive at least 2 wholes, so I'll plug that right into my answer. And now all we have to do is subtract the 6/7 from the 10/7. Take a moment to do so. 6/7 from 10/7. Giving you 4/7. So our answer is going to be 2 4/7. Let's try one more using this method. Our last question asks us to subtract 4 4/6 minus, or 9 1/6 minus 4 4/6. So again, what we notice is that we have mixed numbers on both sides. So our first job is we have to subtract those whole numbers first. We have to subtract the 9 and the 4 first. So we can rewrite this sentence, giving us a mixed number on one side and a fraction on the other. Always pause this video when you're taking the moment to do so, and then you can replay it or resume it when you're ready to join back in. Well, once we subtract 9 1/6 minus 4 4/6, and we subtract first those whole numbers, we receive 5 1/6 minus 4 6s. So we have our mixed number on one side and our fraction on the other. Now let's go ahead and start breaking apart the 5 1/6 into two pieces, giving us a whole number on one side and an improper fraction on the other. Since I have 5 1/6, I know I'm going to receive at least 4 wholes, leaving me with the remaining mixed number 1 1/6. Well, let's change 1 1/6 to equal an improper fraction. I know that 1 whole is going to be equal to 6/6 because our numerator and denominator equal that whole number when they match, and we can add that with the 1/6, making this improper fraction 7 6s. So now we have the pieces to our puzzle and we're able to start plugging in to give us the difference. Since we receive at least 4 wholes, I know I'm going to write that in my difference and in my answer, so I'm going to have at least 4 wholes, and now all I have to do is subtract the 7 6s with 4 6s. So take a moment to do so. 7 6s minus 4 6s. I receive, when I subtract those two, 3 6s, giving me the answer 4 3/6. So I want you to work on using these methods when you come across questions that ask you to subtract with mixed numbers or ask you to subtract with just questions. Decomposing that first mixed number is a great tool, and this is a standard algorithm way that you can also put in place with your number line and also with your decomposing methods. So just keep up the good work. I look forward to our Zoom meetings and Zoom calls, and I hope you have an awesome Wednesday. Bye-bye, 4th grade.